Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to do something super important. We're mapping out your entire retirement journey right here in Singapore, from your very first investment all the way to your golden years. So let's get right into it. We all know we're supposed to be saving for retirement, right? But the real question is, are you doing it the smart way? We're going to create a super clear financial roadmap showing you exactly what to focus on from your 20s through your mid-career and right into retirement itself. Here's our game plan. First, we'll cover the basic building blocks every Singaporean has. Then, we'll walk through each stage of life step by step. And we'll wrap it all up with a simple, clear action plan you can use. All right, let's start with the absolute foundation of any solid retirement plan in Singapore. We're talking about the 3 essential pillars. Think of these as your core toolkit. You've got your CPF, that's the mandatory foundation for your lifelong income. Then there's the SRS, which is just a fantastic way to lower your taxes while you invest. And finally, you have Singapore Savings Bonds, or SSBs, which act as this really flexible, super safe safety net. Okay, let's get into the first big stage of our journey, the accumulation phase. This is where your biggest, most powerful asset is simply time. When you're in your 20s and 30s, the name of the game is growth. And I mean aggressive growth. Why? Well, because you've got decades ahead of you. You have plenty of time to ride out any bumps in the market, which makes it the absolute perfect time to let the magic of compounding do all the heavy lifting for you. So what does that look like in practice? A typical portfolio at this stage is really heavily weighted towards growth. We're talking about 80% in equities, things like stocks and funds, and just 20% in more stable, fixed income investments. And here's a huge advantage for us in Singapore. Your mandatory CPF savings, they already create that solid fixed income base for you. That guaranteed interest literally frees up your other cash to go chase higher growth through things like low-cost global ETFs. All right, fast forward a bit. As we hit our mid-career, the story starts to change. It's less about pure growth and more about balancing that with protecting everything you've worked so hard to build. By the time you're in your 40s and 50s, the game just feels different. Your portfolio is bigger, you probably have more responsibilities, and suddenly protecting what you have becomes just as important as chasing new gains, mainly because you have less time to recover from a big downturn. And you can see that strategy shift right here in the numbers. We're dialing back the risk to a much more balanced 60-40 split. This still gives you plenty of room for solid growth, but it definitely helps to smooth out the ride. So at this point, your equity side might start to lean more towards stocks that pay dividends or maybe REITs. For your fixed income, you might start actively buying more SSBs or even think about topping up your high-interest CPF special account to really max out those guaranteed returns. And please, do not forget this number. During these peak earning years, hitting this $15,300 annual SRS contribution is such a powerful move. You literally get to lower your tax bill today while you're building up another investment pot for your future. It's a win-win. Okay, we're on the home stretch now. In these last few years before retirement, the focus pivots, and I mean dramatically, towards preserving your capital and planning your income. You see, you're not just saving for some distant goal anymore. Nope. You are actively designing the paycheck you're going to give yourself in retirement. It's all about locking in that income stream so you can be sure your money will last. Your portfolio makes a really decisive shift towards safety. You're now heavily weighted in fixed income. We're talking around 70%. The main goal now is preserving your capital with just enough in equities to make sure inflation doesn't slowly eat away at your savings. Now, this is a really important number to know. This is the new Enhanced Retirement Sum, or ERS, for 2025. Hitting this target in your CPF retirement account is what allows you to get the highest possible monthly payouts from CPF LIFE. It really is the bedrock of a strong retirement income. And that leads to a really critical decision you have to make. Choosing your CPF LIFE plan. Do you want more cash in hand right away with a standard plan? Or are you worried about inflation, making the escalating plan a better fit? It's all about what works best for your personal situation. And here we are, the destination. We've made it. Now we're living in retirement, where the whole goal is making your money last and creating a reliable income stream you can count on. The game has totally flipped. For decades, it was all about accumulation, building that nest egg. Now it's all about decumulation. It's no longer about building wealth, but about strategically and smartly spending it down to fund your lifestyle for the next 20 or 30 years. So, the key is having a tax-efficient sequence. You always want to start with your tax-free income streams first. That means your CPF LIFE payouts and the interest you get from your Singapore savings bonds. Then you can strategically withdraw from your SRS account over 10 years, because only half of that withdrawal is even taxable. We've journeyed through every single stage, so what's the big takeaway here? Well, it's about having a plan that's dynamic, a plan that you can actually manage. And remember, your retirement plan is not a set-it-and-forget-it thing. Think of it more like an annual checkup for your finances. Every single year, you should check your progress, rebalance your portfolio back to your target, and make sure you're maximizing all your contributions. It's that simple discipline that keeps you on track. So, we've given you the roadmap. We've laid out the entire journey. Now, the most important part is on you. Just identify where you are today and take that next simple step forward.